Live. Yeah. Question?
It's just a, I might save it for the class.
Okay, indeed. We're live still. I still do that. All right, Shalom. This is the ISUPK under commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been teaching that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the real Israelites, the people of the Bible, man. In the Bible, you know, regardless of what denomination you are, we read about the chosen people of God. So in the Bible, you read about chosen people of God. Regardless of what denomination you are in, everyone reads the book of Exodus. Everyone knows how God saved the people from the Egyptians of that time. And those people have descendants that are alive today. And their descendants are black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We are the chosen people of the Lord. So why don't we know this? Because of religion, man. Because of being enslaved under empire. Right. We've been taught it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, God loves everyone, but in the Bible, He does not say that. In the Bible, it tells you that God loves these people. With Christ, His second return is to save those people, and that's why being a Israelite does matter. Because if Christ is coming to save them, then surely it would matter who they are. It must matter who they are. If Christ is coming for that people, man. You know, even in, for example, Matthew 18 and 11, He says, the Son of Man came to save that which was lost. Meaning what? With the Israelites, they were lost. Christ came to save them. So it's clear that being an Israelite does mean something. Although every day in religion and in life, we're told it doesn't mean anything, the Bible is clearly telling you that it does matter. So for those of you that are new to class, we do have a school in the city of Birmingham. The address is 394 Lodge Road, postcode B185PW. And from this school, we teach classes 3 times a week. So on the Mondays, 7 up until 9, you got the history class. Then you got the Wednesday class. And today, you got the scripture breakdown class. Right? Then you can check us out online on Facebook, ISUPK United Kingdom, on YouTube, ISUPK United Kingdom as well. You can check out our videos and then the classes and many things that we have done. All right. So if anyone has any questions online, feel free to write them in. If you're in the class, just raise your hand and say Alakia, and we'll answer. All right. So with that being said, has anyone got anything, any questions, or you've been reading the Bible in the week? There's a verse you don't understand. You know what I mean? If you do, by all means, let's have it. Yeah.
It's like I have a scripture. It's in book of Amos, chapter 2 and verse 10.
Okay, Amos.
I just want to know.
Then we do have a topic, and it will be going into the royal family about who the real royalty is, right? So if you don't,
so like you can hear me.
19. Let's get Exodus 19. And we can start from verse 1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 18, 19?
Yeah, 10.
Chapter 18 and 1.
Exodus 19 and 1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 1. In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai.
So what happened? This is the Exodus. This is when we left Egypt. which you know mean the word Exodus. What is the root word exit? So meaning what? We left the land that was oppressing us of that time, which was the land of Egypt, and we came to the wilderness. A wilderness is a place where nothing does not grow, man. It is uninhabitable, meaning you don't live there because it can't sustain life. And the Lord made us eat and drink in a place where nothing doesn't grow. That is a miracle within itself that we lived in a wilderness for even so long.
Right.
Reader.
Another one, Khan. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount.
So what happened? So before Mount Sinai, we camped before the mount. So over here, before means in front of. We cannot. We can hear. No. So now
you can. All right, no,
we can hear. So now we camped before the mount, meaning what? We set up tents in front of that mountain, man. Reader.
Another one, Khan. Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians.
And look right there, man. Why is the Lord saying this? Because the Lord's saying, listen, man, you shouldn't be serving no other God. You've seen what I've done to them, man. You know what I mean? You got some nerve to follow some cow god and some Egyptian, a bull god. Well, listen, you've seen what I've done to them. Meaning, don't serve the Egyptian gods because there was one God that destroyed all of them, man. There's one God that put all of their ideologies to an open shame. And God said, listen, you've seen what I did. You know what I mean? What? The Lord put Egypt down, man. And saying, listen, serve me. You've seen what I've done to them.
That's right.
Reader.
Another one, Khan. And how I bear you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Now, therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people.
Listen to that, man. God told us if we keep his word, we will be above all the people, man.
That's right.
Listen, man, some of you think the royal family is above you. They're not, man.
That's right.
Listen, you are above the royal family, man.
Right.
Queen Elizabeth in the kingdom of heaven, they have to answer to you, man.
Right.
Prince Harry and what's the other one? Prince Charles. I don't think he's gonna make it in. He's old already. Like you might get it now. Give it 10 years. He's gonna be passed on again, man. You know what I mean? In my opinion, of course, but he's not looking well, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, the point being is, we are above them, man.
That's right.
We are above all people on the face of the earth.
Right.
This is in the Bible. That one race of people, when they serve their God, are going to be above all nations of the face of the earth. Meaning what? There's a nation that God likes, and he prefers them to be above everybody, man.
That's right.
And it just so happens to be you, black man. It just so happens to be you, his Hispanic man. It just so happens to be you, Native Indian man. And you should be happy for it.
Right.
That's right.
Reader.
Come. For all the earth is mine.
What did the Bible say?
For all the earth is mine.
So can anyone break that down? So it says we're going to be above everyone. For all the earth is mine. So what does that mean? I'll give you an example. If I say to you, in my house, you will get the best bedroom because all the house is mine, what am I implying to you?
God, so it's like if I could.
Go ahead.
It's like I was gonna say, so everything belongs to him, so he can choose with, he can choose who he gives blessings. He decides what goes on in the earth.
That's right. You were going to say the same thing, pretty much. And that's right. So the Lord's saying, the earth is mine, meaning what? I have the power to do it. I have the power to put you above everyone because the earth is mine. You meaning what? The Lord has the ability to do it. Like the example, if I say you get the best bedroom in my house because this house is mine, meaning this house is mine, I have the ability to give you the best room. And the Lord's saying the earth is mine, and I can put you above everybody.
That's right.
And that's what we have, man. We have a God that what prefers us above everyone, and the earth is His, meaning He has the power to put you above everybody, man. The Lord has the power to make you the top nation on the face of the earth. It's in the Lord's might to put you above the royal family, man. Black people crying about the queen is dead, man. She's not your queen, man. You mean the royal family doesn't benefit you? If anything, you've helped them more than they've ever helped you, man.
That's right.
The royal family oppress the islands, man. Do the research. You know, in the class, if we have time, we will get into bits of it. I want to say bits of it, meaning there's so much more. How a lot of the riches they have is from your ancestors picking cotton, man. You know what I mean? Picking cane. That's where a lot of the royal family's wealth originates from. And they don't want you to even know that. Read that.
Can't. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
And there, man, we're going to be a kingdom of a priest, man. A kingdom of priests. A nation that is just holy. A nation that is separate. A nation that is above every other nation.
That's right.
Read that.
And an holy nation.
And the what?
An holy nation.
And we're going to be a holy nation, man. Listen, man. All of us are meant to be above the royal family, man. All of us, we're meant to be the best of the best, man. And listen, it's time that we know it, man. So that we don't cry for someone who died rich and died at 96, man. That don't make no sense. You are aware that we're all going to die one day. You know what I mean? You died at 96 years old. What's the problem? And you died rich. Imagine this. You died. And listen, when you was alive, all you had to do was just wave your hand at the crowd like a little. It was Captain McQueen. Wave your hand.
Right.
What's the problem? You're gonna mourn for someone like that. You mean all they had to do was just arrive and just wave their hands, and they got paid, and they had money. They were landowners. Damn, they tax you to death. Listen, man, you can't mourn for someone like that. Read that.
Can't. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Now listen, man, these are the words that was spoken unto us. That what? We are a holy nation, man. We're going to be above all the people on the face of the earth. All right, let's get Deuteronomy 26. Quick verse. I know it's in Deuteronomy 26 in there.
26 and verse 7.
Let's try that. 26 and 7. No.
Book of Deuteronomy 26 and verse 7. Wow. Okay.
All right, it is Deuteronomy 26 and 16.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 26 and verse 16. This day the Lord thy God hath commanded thee to do these statutes and judgments. Thou shalt therefore keep and do them with all thine heart and with all thy soul.
Yeah, so again now, this is another part of the Bible. But the Lord said, if we do what He says, we do with all of our heart, meaning all your mind, and your soul, meaning your will, your ability, meaning what? Serve the Lord with everything, man. You know what I mean? Why? Because if you give the Lord all, then you don't have room to go against him, which is the point. Read on.
Right. Khan. Thou hast avouched the Lord this day to be thy God, and to walk in his ways, and to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments, and to hearken unto his voice.
So meaning we avouch this. Avouch means to agree. So in this covenant that we are in, our ancestors agreed that yes, you know what I mean? All what the Lord says we will do. Read on.
And the Lord hath avouched thee this day to be his peculiar people, as he hath promised thee, and that thou shouldest keep all his commandments.
And guess what? We made a promise to the Lord, and the Lord made a promise with us that what? We're going to be his chosen people. Read on.
And to make thee high above all nations which he hath made.
Now you want to stop right there, man. You know, a lot of people like to say this, yeah, but God made everyone. But we're reading right here, God's going to put us above all the nations which he have made. So listen, we know God made everyone, but that doesn't change that God wants you above them, man. That doesn't change that.
Right.
That, you know what I mean? Because God made everyone, it means that he loves everyone the same. We just read it right here, that the Jews, Israelites, are going to be above all the people which God made. So God made the Chinese, the Japanese, the Mongolians, the Burmese, Thailand people. And listen, you're above all of them, man. God made all of them, but still, it doesn't change the fact that you're above all of them, man.
That's right.
Right.
And if you think I'm lying, life shows you you're above everyone. Look on the jobs. The best workers are who? You, man. Imagine this, all over the earth, people trying to act like who? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. You know what I mean? Everyone's trying to be like you, talk like you, wear what you wear. Life shows you you're above all people on the face of the earth. And sometimes we don't realize it, but listen, it's very evident. Imagine this, all over the earth, people want to act like someone who's poor, man. A lot of what we wear is not because, you know what I mean, that's what we want. It's because we're poor. Baggy jeans, doesn't anyone know where that originates from? If you're from the era of the 90s. Oh, yeah, okay. You know, so of course, in prison, yeah? You mean they basically took your belt off you so that you don't hang yourself? And then, you mean that became a trend? And listen, I mean, at one point in time, everyone's wearing baggy jeans just like you, man. Why? Because you are above all the people. Anything you do, guess what? You turn it into gold, man. You know what I mean? Why? Because you are above all the people. And that's why everyone looks up to you, because you're above them. You are better than them. And life shows you it every day. You have something
right. Like the other one. They tried to throw us off the scent of the Bible by teaching us, releasing us from freeing us from slavery, teaching us that it was physiology that made us different to everybody else. It's heavy what you're saying, because they wanted to instill in us and our children and the generations to come that we were just physically better than everybody else, so we wouldn't pick up on this in the scriptures. When in fact we're mentally better, we're spiritually better. It's not just a physical thing. They wanted us to believe, oh, we're the fastest runners and the highest jumpers because of our fathers and our grandfathers, and it's a genetic thing. But that's not where it ends. It's mental, it's spiritual, it's in every capacity, every walk of life.
Absolutely. Now, I'll use the UK as one example. In the UK right now, who's everyone trying to be like? You, black man. All of the lingo, how to act. Why? Because you are above everybody. And even they know it. That's why they're trying to be like you. If you wasn't, they would act like somebody else. But what? They know being you is the pinnacle of how to be, man. Liking what you like, they know, listen, that's what we need to do, man. Why? Because you are above everybody. And guess what? Life shows you that every day. If you don't believe me, just open your door, man. Go on the internet, look around, and everyone's trying to be like you. Why? Because God says you are above everyone. And that's why everyone is looking up to you, man. Reader.
Cardinal Khan. And to make thee high above all nations which he hath made, in praise and in name and in honor.
So I'm gonna we're meant to be above every nation, and it's breaking down in what things. So the first one is in praise, man. Meaning what? Everyone's meant to praise you above everyone else. That's the Israelites right there, man. They're the people of God, man. You heard about Exodus? It's them right there, man. You're meant to be praised. People meant to see and go, is that a Jew? Yo, listen, man, I'm gonna open that door for him, man. How can we help you? You're meant to go in the shop and not pay for nothing, man. You know what I mean? Well, you know what I mean? Obviously, I can't do it now. I'm meant to go in that shop. I could cross the road and get a pack of raisins for free, man. I'm meant to get some Haribos and just walk right out. But of course, I can't do that now, of course. But listen, man, you're meant to get it in praise, man. They're meant to praise you, God. Listen, that's the look at them. Those are the chosen people of God right there, man. You mean we've heard about Exodus? It's them right there. You're meant to get praise. And what's the other one? In name, meaning reputation. These nations are meant to go, listen, you mean that's one of those Jews, man. The people that follow those laws of God. Your reputation is even meant to be above theirs, man. Your reputation is meant to be above the royal families, man. People are so nice, and the etiquette they have. Listen, their etiquette is not better than yours, man. Their name is not better than yours. Why? Because we are the chosen people of God. Reader.
Cardinal Khan. And in honor.
And in honor, man. And in respect. Meaning what? The respect on the earth. We're meant to have it the most, man. Nations are meant to give you the most upright respect. Not like now when you're in a shop and the East Indians taking the mick with you, man, and they're harassing you. You're meant to get the utmost respect on the face of this earth. Reader.
And that thou mayest be an holy people unto the Lord thy God, as he hath spoken.
And then that we will be holy, man. We will be separate, meaning we're not like everyone else. We are people that are set apart, and this is in the Bible, man. This right here is the real royal family right here, man. This right here is the real monarchy, and it's you, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. You're the royalty on the face of this earth, man. Let's get first Peter's 2:8.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 8. And a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense.
So let me
even
both. Sorry, verse 9.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood.
What did the Bible say?
But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood.
And there you go, man. We are royal. We are the real royalty, man. We are a royal priesthood, man. Meaning what? The real royalty is with you, black man. Is with you, Hispanic man. Is with you, Native Indian man. That's where royalty lies, man. You can't look up to someone who, listen, oppressed your ancestors, man.
Right.
You know, a lot of people don't see like how they should. You know what I mean? When you see her, you should see oppression, man. You should see the pinnacle of oppression. Why? Because She's benefited of what? Your ancestors in the cane fields for 400 years, man. You're seeing someone that is the biggest landowner on the face of the earth, literally owns all the islands, man. Got you know what I mean, a Trinidad in debt, Jamaica in debt, and she is the face of it, man. That's what you should see instead of that's the Queen of England. Oh gosh, you know what I mean? She's dead now. She was lovely to who?
Right.
You mean I've watched the news. She was a wonderful a woman to who? You don't know her. You mean she was such a nice woman. Listen, you don't know her, man. Someone that waves at the camera like him this every day. You don't know them. Go ahead,
ISUPK, she was wonderful to her corgis.
there you go. You mean she's wonderful to the people around her, but what? Everyone outside of that, listen, she oppressed the hell out of them, man.
That's
You know,
right.
I'm gonna get into some articles afterwards. How that when she died, many countries that were under the British colony, they want their diamonds back, man. In East India, the Queen stole the best diamond that they had. And in Africa, it's called the Great. It's called the North African a diamond. In that, like that Sadak that she has in Kenya, that was the best diamond. And I'm gonna show you that even when Africa said that it was robbed, they lied and go, no, it was handed to us. It wasn't robbed. You know what I mean? At one point, someone gave it to us, and we're gonna get into all that. And listen, you're gonna find out that royal family, that nice family, they're not so nice, man.
Right.
Reader.
Another one, Khan. Unholy nation, a peculiar people.
And then we are peculiar, man. We're different, man. You know what I mean? So many people wonder, you know what I mean, why do we stand out so much? Because we are a peculiar people. We're just different. And the Lord made us that way, man. Reader.
Another one, Khan. That ye should shew forth the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
And there, so of course, that's going into darkness. And at one point in time, all of us in this room was here, man. All of us in this class, we was there, man. We was in darkness.
Right.
We was in that church thinking that Christianity had the way, man. Some of us had on a man dress and was in the mosque, and we thought Islam had the way. We was in darkness, man. Some of us believed, you know, in the Rasta way and the Pan-Africanism and, you know, all different religions that you think you find God, but you don't. And at one point, we was all in darkness. Read
Another one, Khan. Which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of God.
And then, man, we are the people of God, meaning in our darkness, we wasn't the people of God. We was acting like the nations round about us. But now we are the people of God, man. By how we live, by what laws we keep, by our conduct, man. And that's what Peter is getting into. So, right, I'm gonna get into the history side. We knock it out, then we get back in the Bible. Right? And if you have any questions in the class online, I mean, do feel free to ask them. Yeah.
Come on, God. I have a verse if I could get the breakdown on it after.
If you want, you can ask it now. If you like.
Was King James from the tribe of Judah?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Is that in the scriptures?
So do you mean like King James of England or King James in the Bible?
King James that authorized
The translation of the Bible.
1611.
Yes, yeah. There's a book you can buy. I'm just paraphrasing. I have got a book at home. It's called When Scotland Was Jewish. And in that book, it lets you know that, yeah, that with the Edward family, that they was from the tribe of Judah. So it does in the history book say that, yeah.
So if that means, hence, if King James was from the tribe of Judah, he was an Israelite. If he was an Israelite, he was a so-called black man. If he was a so-called black man, he was the king of England and Scotland and Wales and France just before the 1611 era, and that would mean that the monarch of England has only been Edomite for the last 300 years.
Well, yeah, I'll break it down. So, of course, you know what I mean, with King James, he died, he got B ahead of, you know what I mean? Then now his son reigned for a bit. There was a revolt. He died too. And then, you know, the so-called Windsor family, they're called Windsor now, but that wasn't their original name. They came from Germany. They literally have a German last name. They only changed it in the early 1900s because of World War One, and obviously because of World War One and a lot of anti-German hate, they decided now like it doesn't look good if we got German last names. So that's when I believe it was 1918. That's when they changed the name to Windsor. But before that, it was literally a German last name, which I was gonna get into as well.
So is that where they stole our sovereignty from, our royal bloodline?
So basically,
from the end of the King James era.
That's right. So really, they're benefiting off King James's throne, basically. Yeah. So they came from Germany, and they're benefiting off his throne. So they're sitting on a throne that's not theirs, but they have it.
So the sovereignty of the UK belongs to us. It's our royal bloodline, really.
They have lineage of it. Yeah, absolutely. Just like many things in life, another nation takes what's ours. It even happened back then. You know what I mean? They're sitting on a black man's a throne, and obviously, of course, now you know you say King James is black, people laugh at you and people think you're mad when that is literally what it was. You know what I mean? But of course, you know they don't want you. They don't want you and me to find out that a black man at one point ruled this a country right here, which is good. Right. Like, you had a question.
Come on, it's just a scripture that I forgot I've broken down, but sure. It is the book of Amos, chapter 2 and verse 10.
Let's get that. Amos 2 and 10.
God, it's from 10 to 16. So Amos chapter 2, verse 10. Also, I brought you up from the land of Egypt and led you 40 years through the wilderness to possess the land of the Amorite. And I raised up your sons for prophets and of your young men for Nazarites.
Okay, so you mean with that verse there, you know, you can use that against Islam, you know, with days like Muhammad the Prophet. You can let them know that, listen, this is talking about Israelites right here, about how their sons are a prophet, their sons are a Nazarite, so you can use it like in that, you know what I mean? Reader.
Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith the Lord? But ye gave the Nazarites wine to drink, and commanded the prophets, saying, prophesy not.
Okay, so you want a breakdown on this part here? I'm assuming.
God.
So meaning we broke the law. In the law, a Nazarite is not meant to drink wine, and we made him drink. Meaning what? Right. We broke the law. You mean when it says a Nazarite can't drink off the vine, it's talking about wine. So meaning a Nazarite, if someone takes a Nazarite vow, they can't drink wine, and we made the Nazarites drink, man. Meaning right. What? We broke the law, which is the point. And what's the other part? And commanded the prophets, saying, prophesy not. So meaning when there was prophesying against us, we're like, I don't want to hear that, man. I prophesy not. Listen, I don't want to hear that we're sinning and we're gonna die. And look, man, I don't want to hear that. Meaning there are people that rebel, which is the point.
Cool.
Read
that. Behold, I am pressed under you as a cart is pressed that is full of sheaves.
Okay, so base law saying I am pressed under you. as a cart is pressed with a sheaves, have you looked it up what a sheaf is or sheaves?
Con, is it? It's to do with like grain and like agriculture, like the
There you go. So with sheaves, that's like bundles of wheat. So
right,
imagine you got a cart and it's got lots of wheat on it. It's pressed, meaning it's finding it hard to bear the weight. And the Lord saying He is oppressed with us, meaning He can't take it no more.
right,
It's
right,
sinning, breaking law, and those pressed like I can't take this no more. Like how a cart has bundles of sheep, meaning what you're weighing it down, and eventually that cart is going to break, man. If you don't let that cart have the right amount of weight on it, it's going to be pressed on what? It's going to have enough. And the Lord
con,
saying He has enough with us. He's saying, listen, man, I've been bearing you. I've let you go. You've served other gods, which is punishable by death, and I've made you live. I'll give you chance after chance. Now I am pressed with you, meaning I've had enough now. Reader.
right. Con. Therefore, the flight shall perish from the swift, and the
Uh-huh.
strong. It's like yeah.
So
Oh,
okay, so now it's saying, listen, nothing can help you. Let's break down the examples. Therefore, the flight shall perish from the swift. So meaning someone who's fast, you're gonna lose that ability, man.
right,
That ability you have is not going to help you when the Lord is bringing His wrath. You mean what you think is going to help you? It's not going to work, man.
mm,
And listen, that's life all the time. Things that become your a comfort zone when the Lord's against you, it never works, man.
right,
So many of us think it's riches. See, what the black community needs is more wealth and this and that. And listen, the black community could be rich. We will still be cursed by the Lord, man.
right,
It's got nothing to do with that. What it comes down to is how we live, our conduct, man. Not what attributes you have, not what you can do. And the Lord's saying, listen, those things ain't going to help you. Reader.
con. Um, and the strong shall not strengthen his force.
And even a mighty man, his muscles ain't gonna help him, man. Just like now, we got lots of brothers that down there live in the gym, and those muscles can't help us from under this empire right here.
Right,
It doesn't do anything, man. You got some guys 6'8" big and listen, man. Once the officer comes, they're like, yeah, yes, sir, no, sir. Meaning what? It can't really help you. And the Lord's saying, with His wrath, regardless of if you're strong, if you're swift, anything that you think is going to be a help, it's not going to help you. Reader.
con. And the might neither it's like it. Neither shall the mighty deliver himself.
And a mighty man, meaning a man of war, he can't even deliver himself, man. Yes, he can fight, but with the vengeance of the Lord, he can't even save himself, man.
Right,
Meaning, this empire that is about to come and put us in a bondage. Listen, man, the mighty man cannot help you. That mighty man is going to be in bondage with you, man. Even though he's a fighter, he's enslaved, just like all of us are. Why?
right,
Because it's of the Lord. And when it's of the Lord, it doesn't matter what you got, what you try to do, it never works, man. We got
right,
Nigel Benn, he's a boxer. You know what I mean? He's won lots of belts. He can't help us. He's oppressed just like how we are, man. You got many of us that what we can fight, but can never get out of this. Why? Because this is from the Lord, and the only way to get this off us is to serve that same Lord, man. Reader.
con. Neither shall he stand that handleth the bow, and he that is swift of foot shall not deliver himself.
And there you go. So it's talking about, listen, regardless of what attributes you got, you can't deliver yourself, man. So there's a man who's mighty with the bow, meaning, listen, with that bow, he's excellent, but you can't save him after this. There's a man on his feet, he's swift, man. He's a man of war, But as swift as he is, he can't get out of this. Which is why, because this comes from on high, man. This ain't just a carnal war. This is about a war of the actions that we do, man.
That's right.
It's a war about how we live. It's a war on how we think. That's where the war really lies. Right. And you know what I mean? I'm not saying those things are bad, but those things can't help you in the situation that we are in, which is the point. Reader.
Can't. Neither shall he that rideth the horse deliver himself.
And guess what? In war, there's some men that ride the horses, man. And the Lord's saying, even the man that rides the horse, what I'm going to bring, his horse riding ain't gonna save him. Right. He can gallop as far as he wants. He's gonna get the same punishment like everybody else. Reader.
And he that is courageous among the mighty shall flee away naked in that day, saith the Lord.
So I break this part down. And he that is courageous among the mighty. So meaning, even among us, there's some people that are not afraid. In that day, they're going to run naked. And when it says naked, it's not talking about literally naked. In the Bible dictionary, naked means you're not dressed right. Or you'll mean like, okay, for example, I'm wearing a garment, but my headpiece fell off. I don't look right, like, he's looking naked, man. Like, he's not looking right. He's not looking how he's meant to be. Meaning, this man, he ran away naked, meaning part of his garments hanging up. You know, like he's running for his life and his shirt's dangling or something. That's what it means. It doesn't mean literally naked, like not wearing anything. Meaning, this man, who's not meant to be afraid of anything, he's afraid. And that happens when the Lord isn't with you. Meaning, if the Lord was with you, you wouldn't be afraid, you wouldn't run away. But because this is of the Lord, that's why you're running away. Because you know this is different, man. And that's life. Even in the UK right now, there's many people, outside of many things, they're brave. But when it comes to speaking up for black people, they're scared, man. They don't want to talk about the Queen's death. They don't want to talk about oppression. They don't want to talk about race. What's that guy, Akala? He's a prime example. He is a coward, man. He don't want to talk about what it is. Why? Because he's afraid. He's afraid of what England would say against him. He's afraid about how people would look at him. And that's why it makes things seem so nice, because he's afraid. Whilst in the UPK, listen, man, if you're in here, you got to be courageous, man.
That's right.
You got to be in England saying King James is black, man. Right. Believe me, some people are scared of that, man. You got to say we're not African. People go, yeah, but you look like African. You mean, what's the famous one? You look Ghanaian. You look Ghanaian, you do. You know what I mean? And guess what? You got to say, I'm not African, man. I'm an Israelite. That was, you know what I mean? That we were Israelites living in Africa. You got to be courageous, man. You can't get along and, just tell people what they want to hear. Reader.
Can't. It's like that's
And that's it. So you understand it?
Can't say the word.
Most time correct. Right. Let's get into it. Alright, so then screen share this with you. Alright, so this is from history.com. Of course, you can find it in many places. Is that readable online?
Can't. So from the beginning of that paragraph.
Can't, yeah.
With the outbreak of World War I in the summer of 1914, strong anti-German feeling within Britain caused sensitivity among the royal family about its German roots.
So this ain't nothing we're making up. Even history knows the royal family of today have German roots, meaning what? They come from Germany. they're not even English at all. They have German roots. So when an Englishman's crying, the Queen of England, he doesn't know what he's talking about, man.
Right.
They are German. You are looking at people of German ancestry. There's nothing English about them. They have German roots, which the average white man doesn't even know. He's in the pub and drinking his life away. He never took time out to even realize, you mean, where did they even come from? Does it matter? Well, okay, yes, they are all white, but what they do is they are promoting England. And if you're promoting England, shouldn't your royal family be English? You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely, they are all oppressors. But you know what I mean? When it comes to England, they are promoting this land. And imagine the person that upholds your land ain't even English. They are German. So it lets you know that, you know what I mean, at the time of World War One, there was sensitivity among the royal family about its German roots, meaning they felt away because obviously England was against Germany. So
Right.
among them, they're like, oh, it's a bit of a rough one because really we are German. You know what I mean?
That's like the other one. Why are we talking about Esau? I've got a question. Is it okay if I go off topic a bit?
Once again, I'll just read this thing, we'll get into that. Reader.
Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany, also a grandson of Queen Victoria, was the king's cousin. The queen herself was German.
So even Queen Victoria at the time, she was German. Meaning what? This family has German roots, man. It's not some deep history. This is just their ancestry. Reader.
As a result, on June 19th, 1917, the king decreed that the royal surname was thereby changed from Saxe-Coburg-Gotha to Windsor.
Listen, that name yells out German, man. Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. That's some German medieval name or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, that name yells Germany. You know what I mean? That name is German, man.
Cool.
And then, you know what I mean? In June 1917, they changed it to Windsor. Why? Because it's more of an English name. So that, you know what I mean? They didn't kind of, so that with England, they didn't look at them as somebody like, you're German too. So then they got the name Windsor, which has been with them till this day.
Right.
I mean, so even that right there, you're the royal family of a country that's not yours, man. You know what I mean? You should be the royal family of Germany if you want to even take it there. And once again, you have something, Ariel?
It's going on topic.
Okay,
since we're talking about so-called white people, I think a lot of the up-youngs and up-youngs that are just waking up and coming into this truth are confused about who the real biblical white man is, because we push that he's from the seed of Esau, who was Jacob's twin brother. But Esau is from the lineage of Shem, like me and you. But the people, the so-called white people that occupy our land today, they've got numerous tribes amongst them as they've gathered as one. The Ashkenaz and the Khazars and so on and so forth, the 6th and 7th century converts to our faith and our culture that have stolen our heritage. They come from the bloodline of Japheth, according to the Bible in Genesis 10 and 2. So if you could just give the audience some edification.
Okay, yeah. Well, no. Even the so-called Israeli, he's not Japhetic. He's an Edomite himself. Just that he follows Judaism. He's a white man too. Just that he follows a different religion from them. So, for example, the average white man, he follows either the Catholic Church, Seventh-day Adventist. They are the same people. They just follow Judaism. You know what I mean? So, of course, as time went on, they identified themselves as a Jew and like they're a different kind of a white man. but really all of them are the same. It's just by what they identify themselves as, whether it's by their religion or by, you know what I mean, or by anything that they can use to divide themselves. But the so-called Israeli of today, whether he's the Sephardic Jew, you mean, or he's the Ashkenazi Jew, they literally are the same race of people. They just go by different names. That is literally all of what it is. So the Sephardic Jews, they were under the Spanish Empire, and you know what I mean. And with the Ashkenazi ones, they were just in Germany. But are they the same race of people? Absolutely.
But we push the Japheth was black.
Yeah, with Japheth, it was a dark-skinned race of people. Yeah.
Ashkenaz, if they were Germanic, they were black.
Okay, I think I know where you got it. Okay,
it's in Genesis.
I hear what you're saying, but you can read 1 second, but they call themselves Ashkenazi, but not because they descend from that. It's because that was the name that was given to ancient Germany. Ashkenaz, you know what I mean? His descendants inhabited Germany, and with the Jewish man, he's not saying he's of the descendants of Ashkenaz. He's saying that he's a German Jew. I think that's where the problem lies. He's not saying that he's Ashkenaz like he's Japhet.
Because there's a tribe of Edomites in Israel today that tell you that they're from the bloodline of the Ashkenazi Jew.
Yeah,
Ashkenazi.
And I don't think you understand what they mean by that. You know what I mean? His descendants inhabited Germany, and the point that the Jewish man is making is that he's a German Jew. He's not saying he comes from the bloodline of a man called Ashkenaz. You know what I mean? He's using the biblical term of what would be the land of the Germans. That's the point. Not saying he's Japhetic, if it makes sense.
Yeah, so they don't deserve the right to be called Ashkenaz then. We call them Ashkenaz even in here, the Ashkenaz Jews.
Okay, we say just for a relatable term so that people know what we're on about. Of course, we know the enough. You know what I mean? We know, but of course, we teach a class and we want people to know what we are on about. So we will say things that people understand so that we can relate to them. Like in the Bible, you know, it says that, you know what I mean, you gotta relate to them. You know what I mean? So of course, we know enough. You know what I mean? We don't argue about it. There's no disputes about it. Just that for people to understand online, that's what we would say. But of course, we know better than that. So yeah, so they're not saying they're from a Japhetic bloodline. The point of them saying that is that what they're from Germany. That is the point, not that they are Japhetic. So you know what I mean? You can read that in Genesis 10.
The book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 2. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog.
Okay, so a Gomer would be like Italy, and with a Magog, that would be up in Russia. Reader.
And Madai.
Reader.
And Javan.
And Javan. So Javan would be Greece, around that region. Reader.
And Tubal.
And Tubal, that's also like around Russia, around that region as well. Reader.
And Meshech.
Russia as well.
And Tyrus.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 3. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz.
So now one of the sons of the Gomer is Ashkenaz, and you know that would be Germany. So now when the Ashkenazi Jew is saying that, he's not saying he's Japhetic, he's saying he was in their land, the land of Ashkenaz, which would be Germany. So he's not saying he's Japhetic because you can't be a Japhetic Jew. So you know what I mean? He's wearing that big hat and all that saying he's a Jew, and then he's of a Japhetic race. Like, that would be contradictory. The point of that is saying that he was in Germany, which is the point that he's attempting to make. If you get the point.
So, okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
So what happened to these black tribes of Europe in the ancient days after the floods? Because Esau migrated to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
The tribes of Esau migrated to Europe. So what happened to the tribes of Japheth?
Okay, what happened to them?
And where are they today?
Okay, they died under the Greeks and the Roman empires. You know, they conquered Europe. So, of course, when they reigned, they killed damn near all of them off. And of course, a Japheth does exist. There'll be the Hawaiians of today, the Australian Aborigines, and then the people like that. But you know what I mean, in regards to like France, Germany, England, they were killed under either the Greeks or the Roman empires as they conquered. I know so. Saying sound on this side don't sound clear. Alright, I'll work on that in a second. Alright then, let's get Psalms 109 and verse 1. So listen, man, while everyone remembers Queen Elizabeth, there's a people that we need to remember, man.
Right.
A people that, you know what I mean, they came to England believing, you know, they'll find a better life. A people that their job wasn't even to live in England. Their job was just to make enough money and go home to the island. But when they came here, they noticed that the jobs weren't paying that much and they could not leave, man. That's the people that we should think about, man. Let's get that Psalms 109 and 1.
Oh, we'll come on the book of Psalms, chapter 109, verse 1. Hold not thy peace, O God of my praise. For the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are opened against me.
And listen, man, this is a Psalm of King David right here, man. And what you're going to notice as you read this Psalm, you're going to find out how much it's talking about you, black man. And listen, man, I mean, for those of you online that may not know, there was a people that came on a ship called the Windrush, man. They came to England to have a better life. And while everyone remembers a woman who died at 96, there's a people we should never forget, man. There's a people, while we're in England, we should remember them every day, man. Why? Because in this country, they was abused. In this country, they was used, man. In this country, they was oppressed, even though they was here to benefit the same place that was abusing them, man. Imagine that. You mean, when you help someone out, they're usually nice to you. You come to a country, you're helping them, and they're abusing you. They're racially abusing you, beating you up, and you're here to help them because their people don't want to work, man. Their people don't want to build England after the Second World War. So King David saying, for the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are opened against me. Meaning what? These wicked and deceitful people, they're talking against us, man. Calling us lazy, saying that, you know what I mean, all we do is wrong. When what? We came here to help you because you didn't want to do no work, man. You know, you can go online. After the Second World War, look at London. London was a bomb site, man. If I can get a image online, I will show you. But listen, man, London was a bomb site, and guess what? We fixed it up, man. Let me see if we can grab one for you. I'll get a good one. There's quite a few, but
Still okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Right, so yeah, these are some images here. Let's screen share it with you. So listen, man. After after World War II, this is London right here. And listen, man, your ancestors built London up. This is how it looked after World War II. I know everyone tells you go back home, but listen, if you didn't go back home, London would have kept looking like this, man, because they wasn't gonna do the work. They wasn't gonna get to work. Look, after World War II, once it was declared done, this is how London looked. And listen, it was black hands that made London look the way how it does now, man.
That's right.
Don't let no one lie to you and go, well, the labor of the Windrush, it wasn't that big of a deal. That's a lie, man. The labor of the Windrush was important in England. It wasn't, little odd jobs that they did on the side. Look at this. This is famous London that everyone likes to see. Listen, man, black labor made London look good, man. So that's piece of the London Underground right there. And in World War II, they was hiding, man, from the German bombs. You know what I mean? This is where they'll be hiding out, man. See, it's not the London you know now. Why? Because we fixed it, man. You know what I mean? So, read on in Psalms.
Got another one, come. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue.
And there, man, they spoke against us with a lying tongue, man. Got the nerve to say, well, the Windrush didn't really contribute as much as you think they did. That's a lie, man. The Windrush was fundamental in the rebuilding of England, man. The Windrush was fundamental in England getting back on its feet. That is a lie, man. It was black people that built the famous London Underground.
So like the other one, they had thousands of amputees coming back from World War II. That their women didn't want to nurse and care. So our aunties, mothers and grandmothers took care of them and nursed them back to health.
There you go. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm going to say it nice with class. The white man was lazy. And it's not far-fetched. Why? Because he's lazy now. So you wasn't hard-working back then and now just lazy. They're the same race of people. They're lazy now, man. They don't want to work. Even now, every 5 minutes, fag break. Always smoking. Yeah, man. That job there, man, it's stressing me out. You know what I mean? I'm like, is it me? That ashtray they have is filled with cigarette butts. Like, if you're working, that shouldn't be full, man. That is filled to the brim with cigarette butts bursting out the tray, man. Why? Because they're not working. They're too busy smoking and talking about how hard the job is instead of doing the work, man. Listen, after World War II, that's the same race of people, man. I'm not lifting that. They're trying to break my back. You know what I mean? I've been here for 3 hours. You know what I mean? You can imagine what they were saying after the Second World War, man. They're trying to kill me out there. It's cold. And guess what? They knew who to bring over, man. Why? Because we're the same people that built ancient Egypt. We're the same people that served under Babylon, served under the Persians and the Medes, served under the Romans, picked cotton for 400 years, picked tobacco for 400 years. You mean our history speaks for itself?
That's right.
You know what I mean? And they're a lazy people, man. You know what I mean? I'm sure a lot of you on your jobs, you know they're lazy. You're doing their work and some, and they're complaining about the little that they do, man. Want to talk to the manager. I need a word with you in a second, man. Yeah, man, you can't do this to me. You know what I mean? I'm stressed out. I'm stressed out, mate. You know what I mean? Crying over nothing, man. Why? Because they're not you. Ariel.
So like the other one, it's the true definition of irony. How they've turned the tables around and convinced the world that our people are the laziest people in the world. That our kids just want to don't want to work when they leave school, want to hang on street corners. They painted a picture, and if you see that, you'll believe it because you see a bunch of young Israelites hanging on the street corner and think every young 16, 17, 18-year-old Israelite is that way inclined. So that's the true definition of irony. They're the lazy ones, and they make the whole world or the whole country think that we're lazy, our nation lazy.
Absolutely. And I'll answer that. This is what a lot of people don't understand. All the minorities in England only make up 6%. So blacks, the Irish, Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Turks, all of us make up 6%. So if many of the kids don't have a job, that reflects more on white people because you are 94% of this land here. So it's not us, it's them. But they never like to shed the light on them and they focus on the 6%. And even the 6%, they only focus on the 1%, man. Which is us. You mean how can you focus on 1% when guess what? You're in this the country more than we are because it's yours. So if a lot of 16s to 18s don't work, that will reflect on you more than us because black people of West Indian descent, we are 1% in the UK.
That's right.
So that will reflect on your kids more than ours because 1% can't make up the majority, if it making sense. And listen, I've been to them white areas, those kids ain't doing nothing, man. I mean, they're in those areas trying to be like you, black man. They're trying to dress like you. And you know what I mean? And I'm pleased, it's so horrible. You know what I mean? You just can't do it, man. You know what I mean? I've been in enough places and it's embarrassing. You know what I mean? Just be you, man. Just do what you do. But you know what I mean? Really, that reflects on them. They are the most unemployed. They're on benefits more than black people. You know what I mean? And their benefits pay for everything. White benefits, it lets them go on holidays. And I'm not making it up. There's documentaries where a white family on benefits gets to go holiday once a year. The benefits we receive is just enough to eat and get the rent paid, man. It's different. Real.
Psalms 109 verse 3. They compassed me about also with words of hatred.
Well, listen, man, that's the Windrush right there, man. They compass us with words of hatred, you wogs, you jigs, you monkeys, you this and that. Listen, man, imagine you're helping them and you got the nerve to call us wogs and jigs and all that. Listen, man, you know what I mean? We're doing something you can't do, and all they did was give us words of hatred. Listen, the Windrush, there are people you should remember, man. You know what I mean? Imagine how much might that takes that you're in a country that's not yours, you're helping them, and you're getting abused every day, man. You're walking on the road, what? And you as someone's going by on the bus. Listen, man, that takes a lot, man. And while people want to remember Queen Elizabeth, in this same land, there's a people we should remember every day, man. Why? Because they was mightier than the Queen. They was braver than the Queen, man. And they're the people that we should never forget, man.
That's right.
How can you remember someone that died at 96 in Richmond, never had to lift a finger in their life, had maids and maidens and got driven around? Your grandmom, she had to work for every penny she got, man.
That's right.
Your grandmom had to do everything herself and didn't live to see 96, man. They're the people we should remember every day, man. Right. Read on.
Go another one, Khan. And fought against me without a cause.
And fought against us without a cause, man.
For my love, they are my adversaries.
There you go. For my love, they are my adversaries, meaning what? We show them love. They are our enemies, meaning the love that is shown, that makes them become our enemies. And let me tell you something, the Windrush loved England. You mean there's documentaries, and on that Windrush ship, they are happy. Like, listen, man, I'm going to England. One man called England the motherland. I was like, I don't get that, you know what I mean? But that's what he said. But he's like, yeah, but I want to go to England. England the motherland. Meaning what? We loved England. We spoke highly of England, and that love, that same love, is the reason why they hated us, man. They became our adversaries. They became our enemies. When all what we did was show them love. We came here, built up a country that wasn't even ours, and got paid below minimum wage, man. Built the London Underground, and you want to know a fact? Many of the labourers that built the London Underground, they died of a cancer because they had no face mask. They working underground, they didn't have no hard hats, barely had light, they didn't have no mouth guards and what? They died of cancer. You know what I mean? A lot of them ain't alive, and the ones that are, they are dying of cancer. We loved England, man. Worked. The equipment wasn't even right, and we still did the jobs, man. God, I will.
So okay, I don't want to deep what you're saying, but I've still got people in Jamaica to this day like dying to come to the UK. They think this is their salvation, this is the greatest country the Most High ever provided. When they don't realise all they're running from is poverty. The only thing England's ever going to provide is finances. There is no life there, especially not for the black man and the black woman.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? So many of us, we think England in a way that it's not realistic. And I'll give you a fact. How we live in England is the equivalent to how we will live in the West Indies. Just that this country is richer, but really the equivalation would be the same. It means that if we would take what we got and it was to get translated into Jamaica, Montserrat, we would literally be living the same. Just that because England is richer, we think it's a better place to be, when really we are in the same house. Right. Just that we don't realize it because this is a richer country, but we are still living poor in the same equivalation, if I'm making sense.
Come on.
That's it. Read on.
Verse 4. For my love, they are my adversaries, but I give myself unto prayer.
Meaning what? We don't even fight back, man. We just pray like, you know what? I'll just let it go, man. And that's black people right there, man. That's Hispanics and Native Indians right there. We are some of the most meekest people on the face of the earth. Let that be another race of people. They will be at war with England, man. Right. They will do all kind of evil acts, but what do? You know what? Let it go, man. It's in the past. Turn the other cheek. Why? Because we are the meat of the earth, man.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Even though we're oppressed in our ignorance, we just want to let it go, man. Even though we become their adversaries for nothing. You hate us when we're helping you. It was black women that built up what is called today the NHS. Like what the officer said, after the war was done, many men were lame, had blown off legs, blown off feet, and white women didn't want to take care of them. They didn't want to look after them, so they needed a nursing staff. And where did they go? To the islands, man. We built up what today is called the NHS.
That's right.
And guess what? You hate us. When all what we've done is love you, man. All what we've done is build up this country right here. And guess what? You don't even deserve it, man. Right. Read that.
Come. And they have rewarded me evil for good and hatred.
No, sir. They rewarded us evil for good, meaning what? We gave them good, but they gave us evil, man. You mean we've given them good, man. worked for minimum wage. Listen, paid rent for a room that really was for a whole house, man. Imagine that. Your family's isolated to a room and you're paying rent money for a whole house. And that same money you're paying for that one room, a white man can buy a whole house, front and back garden and all, man. Listen, man, they've done us evil for good, man. We've been good, and all what we've ever got was evil from the British Empire, man. All what we've ever got was evil from England, even though we've been good to them, man. Some people leave and go, listen, I'm living in one room. I'm going back to Jamaica, man. You know what I mean? Forget that. We stayed in that one room and went to work every day, man. We lived in basements and went to work every day. We've been good to you. I know what you've done to us is be evil. Read
on. And hatred for my love.
And hatred for my love, man. You know what I mean? There's a book on the Windrush, and one man lives in a damp basement. And of course, you know what I mean? He didn't come to England alone. And his friends were like, what are you doing here, man? It's damp. And like, even when he tried to make something to eat, the dampness was taking out the light of the cooker. Like, that's how bad he was living. And that's what England done to us, man. And listen, you remember that, man. Anytime people talk about how great England is, you remember that and go, listen, it wasn't great for us, man. There was a brother living in a basement, man, in a damn basement, and had to pay the landlord the same money that you would pay for a house. Listen, man, you can remember the Queen all your life. I'm going to remember him, man.
Right.
Imagine how his life was living in a basement. And listen, if it's damp, you can die, man. When you inhale, listen, man, you can get all kind of diseases, man.
It's called rheumatism.
It's called, what's it called, sorry?
Rheumatism.
It's called rheumatism. When you are breathing in damp, and listen, man, you can get that. And listen, that brother, I'm going to remember him to the day that I die, man. He needs to be remembered, not some rich woman that died at 96, man. But, you mean, what benefit is in remembering her? You remember people that overcame things. You remember people that achieved things. What did she do? You got a throne that you never had to work for. You mean her dad King George died. You got it next. What's so dramatic about that? What is so achievable about that? Your dad died. You got the throne. Big deal. You never had to lift a finger a day in your life. You never had to wake up tired for work a day in your life. You did nothing. There's nothing rememberable about that. But that brother that lived in the basement, you know what I mean? You can remember that, man. While being oppressed, he went to work every day, man.
Right.
He paid that rent, and he served England, even though England hated it. You can remember that, though. Read up.
Come. Set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand.
Listen, man, this is King David right here. And King David is a man after the Lord's heart. And King David is saying, set a wicked man over me. Let wickedness rule over this man, man. Let Satan sit by his side, man. Why? Because King David wants him dead, man. King David wants his empire to fall. Reader.
When he shall be judged, let him be condemned, and let his prayer become sin.
Listen, man. King David is saying, oh, let them live. Let them live happily ever after. King David is saying, listen, when they're judged, let them be condemned, man. Let England be punished, man. Let the British Empire be punished, man. And let their sin be a prayer. So meaning, even when they pray, Lord, don't even hear it, man. Let their prayer be like a sin, meaning it's detestable. Like the fact that they're praying, it's like a disrespect. Don't even acknowledge a prayer that they even make, man. In the spirit, that's how King David thought about this place, man.
That's right.
Listen, the world needs to know, man. Great Britain is called great, but ain't nothing great about this place, man. King David, he didn't think he was great. That's why he wanted to be condemned, man. He wanted to be judged by the hands of the Most High. And let me tell you something. If you serve the Lord, guess what? England can be judged. But guess what? The Lord's waiting on you, man.
Right.
The Lord's waiting on me. The Lord's waiting on you online to fix up, man. And if we fix up, England can be judged just like Spain, Portugal, America, and many places that have oppressed us. These places can be judged if we be born again, man. Read that.
Another one, Khan. Let his days be few, and let another take his office.
And there, man, let his days be a few, and let another take his office. And listen, we're taking the office, man. In the kingdom of heaven, the British Empire, we are taking their office. They're not going to rule no more, man. We're not going to hear about no more Queen Elizabeth, Prince Charles, and Harry. Listen, man, those things are going to be things of the past. That office, no one's going to even care about it. People are going to talk about Yahushua. You know what I mean? The conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. You mean that's what we're going to be talking about? I'm not going to be talking about no English Germans, man. You know what I mean? Read that.
Khan. Let his children be fatherless, and his wife a widow.
And then, meaning what? Let them die, man. And this is King David. I know in the church they teach about a God that just loves everyone. That's not the Bible. Or King David wouldn't have written this song. Remember, King David is a man after the Lord's heart. Meaning what? King David knows what the Lord wants, man. And listen, King David in this psalm is saying, Lord, get rid of them. I mean, this place has been evil to the chosen people of God, man. This place has been evil to your grandmothers, man, your uncles, your aunties, man. This place is abusive. And listen, their time will come to an end. Just like all empires, you read about the Roman Empire. Now imagine if you was alive in the time when Rome ruled the earth, you couldn't imagine before the Rome. Rome had Africa unlocked, Asia unlocked, Europe unlocked. And what happened? One day, Rome fell, man. The Greeks had, you know what I mean, their realm locked down. If you was alive, you're like, you know what I mean, this empire cannot fall till they did, man. That's it.
So that's the other one, just to back up what you're saying about King David's song here and saying and praying to the Lord to destroy them. Can we get a precept on that?
Absolutely.
To prove that the Lord is not what the Christian church teaches and that he loves everybody. Deuteronomy 15:3.
Let's grab it. Let's get Deuteronomy 15:3.
This is where it talks about lending to the nations.
No, is it 3 and 15? So
Was it 3 and 15?
Exodus, Salakia, 15:3.
Oh, sorry, me. Exodus 15:3.
Yes, Salakia.
I'll show that. You want to read that?
book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name.
So this is a attribute of the Lord, man. And the Lord is a man of war, meaning what? The Lord is a warrior, basically. So the Lord ain't no soft, you know what I mean, wimpy kind of man. The Lord is a man of war, man. I mean, the Lord is masculine. He's a warrior. You know what I mean? So that helps people understand the Lord. It's not soft. It's not what you see in church. It's not what you see the vicar do and the pastor. That's not the spirit of the Lord, man. The spirit of the Lord is a masculine warrior.
That's right.
And that, you know what I mean? So most definitely Exodus 15 and 3 lets you know how the Lord is. That's why King David was the way that he was, saying, let them die. Let them be like this. Even in Acts, it says King David was a man after the Lord's heart, man. You know what I mean? And there was nothing soft about King David. Why? Because there's nothing soft about the Lord.
That's right.
Like that. Where was we again?
Psalms 109.
Psalm 109. For time's sake, I'm just going to get you some history about the royal family and the links they have to the transatlantic slave trade. Right? Let me get this out. Right, so this is from the Guardian, and again, with the royal family, the same Queen Elizabeth and the same King George and King Charles is going to let you know about them in a way that many people don't want you to look at them in that kind of way, right? So then screen share this one. Is that readable or? Right, so this right here on this picture, this is the transatlantic slave trade right here. So of course that's the Atlantic, and it was a trade. You know what I mean? So you got slaves that worked on the island. They bring back wheat, furs, or tobacco. So it was a trade that just kept on going on. So now let's see what the royal family had to do with this. Is that readable, Alba? He wants to read from here.
What are the British monarchy's historical links to slavery?
So it's asking you a question. What are their links? Meaning, what links does the British monarchy have on this? Reader.
While it is difficult to say how much of the royal family's wealth is owed to the slave trade,
Is from what?
owed to the slave trade.
So imagine that the British monarchy, a lot of their wealth, it was accumulated from what? Oppressing your ancestors. Listen, this is the Guardian. It's nothing I wrote. You mean? This is what they read independently, and they know that what a lot of the royal family's wealth is linked to the slave trade. I'm not making it up. Read up.
The past links date back to the 16th century.
Yeah, so from the 1600s, the royal family got rich off what? The murder, death, and destruction of black people. Read up.
Protests have taken place during the Duke and Duchess of Cambridgeshire Caribbean tour, with the royal family accused of having historically benefited from the slave trade and the British Empire.
So now, how can you feel sorry for Queen Elizabeth when that money she has, that money is of the rape, rob, and murder of black people. All that money that funds a limousine, funds a Buckingham Palace, funds the other mansion in Scotland. That money is from what? The transatlantic slave trade, man.
That's right.
How can you feel sorry for someone like that where you benefited off that? Imagine in the islands, you had to pick cotton, tobacco from sun up to sundown to the day that you died. And that family has the wealth. And as a black man, you're forcing me to feel sorry for someone like that. I can't do it, man. Read that.
But what exactly are the monarchy's historical links to slavery?
All right, so now we're gonna get into what links did the royal family have. So let's get the first one. Read that.
Can't. The royal family's links date back to the 16th century in 1562. John Hawkins was the first known English person to include enslaved Africans in his cargo. A journey that was approved by Elizabeth I.
Imagine that. And Elizabeth I, she approved it. She didn't say no, like, hang on, nah, listen, you know what I mean? This is wrong. And at this time, they read the Bible, man. You know what I mean? If God so loved the world, then what about those so-called Africans on those ships, man, who were actually Israelites? They didn't care about that. Which even shows you that even in the church, God so loved the world. It sounds nice, but nobody really believes that, man.
That's right.
Because at this time, God so loved the world was being taught back then too. Read up.
Can't. The enslaved Africans were traded for goods, including ginger and sugar.
And yeah, man. And they were traded for a ginger and sugar. And listen, Queen Elizabeth I allowed it, man. She never said no. She didn't say, what are you doing, man? You know what I mean? John Hawkins, get them off the ship. She was like, whatever. If it benefits us, then let's do it. Let's read some more.
Can't. In 1660, the Royal African Company was established by the Duke of York.
Imagine the Duke of York, man. Yorkshire, Leeds, and York, Doncaster, Bradford, Blackburn. You know what I mean? Those areas make up Yorkshire or York. And listen, man, the Duke of York, man, another person who's related to the royal family. Let's see what he was involved in, man. The Duke of York. Read that.
Can't. Who later became James II with involvement from his brother, Charles I. Charles II. The Royal African Company was prolific within the slave trade, according to the Slave Voyagers website. Between 1672 and 1731, the Royal African Company transported more than 187,000 slaves from Africa to English colonies in North, Central, and South America.
Listen, man, this is the Duke of York's business right here, and he enslaved many of us, man, all over the island. So, North, Central, and South America, and the English colonies. This is the Royal Duke of York, man, part of the royal family, and look what a business they was involved in, man. Oh, nice Queen Elizabeth, man. This is what her ancestors were involved in. This is where all that royal family wealth comes from, man. Read that.
Many of the enslaved Africans transported by the Royal African Company were branded DY, standing the Duke of York.
And imagine that, they would even brand them for the Duke of York, man. You see how some people brand a horse or an animal that is theirs? Meaning with the Duke of York, he had his own brand on a slave, the initials DY, saying that what we belong to him, man. This is a royal family right here. Why does no one talk about this side, man? The Queen was so nice. Oh my God. And what about this part, man? Read that.
Between 1690 and 1807, an estimated 6 million enslaved Africans were transported from West Africa to the Americas on British or Anglo-American ships.
So meaning that same business that was run by the Duke of York. Listen, man, he was big in it. Basically, throughout 1690 to the 1800s, he transported 6 million of us, man. This is the royal family right here, man. Meaning they was in the business big time. Read that.
The slave trade was protected by the royal family and parliament.
Meaning the royal family protected those ships, man. It was protected, like, listen, like, you know what I mean? This is business right here. And the royal family would send out ships to protect those ships. And it was sanctioned by the royal family and the parliament. When they're like, listen, with the slave trade, it's our business, man.
That's right.
The slave trade keeps England functioning, and that's why they protected those ships. Meaning the Queen wanted those ships protected, man. The royal family wanted those ships protected. Read that.
It is difficult to estimate just how much of the current royal family's wealth is owed to slavery.
Meaning what? We made the royal family that rich, you can't even estimate how much of their wealth is owed to it, man. It could be all of it. It could be 95%. Meaning how much they made of it. You don't even know a percentage of how much. How much of it made them rich. Meaning they made billions of it, man. That you can't even estimate how much of it is owed to that. Read that.
But it is understood that the profits of the slave trade funded the treasury as
a treasury, man. It's a treasury that they have. It's that red box that the prime minister comes out with. You mean I don't know what's the point of that red box? I've never understood it. Like who cares about some red box, man? I need money. I don't need to show me some red box. But listen, even that red box, which means England has money, it's like symbolic or something like that. Guess what? Black blood, sweat, and tears, murder, rape, and robbery. That contributed towards that red box, man. That every prime minister shows you, man. Read that.
As well as Britain's industries, buildings, railways, roads, and parks.
There's some meaning. All that money built up England at that time. So before the First and Second World War, England, there was people here, they lived, and the parks and the railroads and the thing that they had in everyday life, that money came from us, man. Yeah, I'll skip some is good, some get that when we can do it. Let's get some more about what they were involved in. It's not this one. Now, we got enough on that. So we're getting to a few quick more, we've got 10 minutes left. All right, let's get. So now on the Queen, you see all fancy diamonds. Listen, even all what she has, that doesn't belong to her, man. Those things were stolen from British colonies. All right, so this is another one. So of course, for some of you that know history or you don't, at one point in time, India was a British colony. So meaning they oppressed them. So now, when the Queen died, India wants their most famous diamond back. So let's get this one. Let's get another one. This one's got too much work. Right, so it reads, after Queen Elizabeth II's death, many Indians are demanding the return of the Kohinoor diamond map. So meaning, even the diamond that the Queen has on the crown, it's not hers. That diamond on her crown was actually stolen from India. That diamond is not theirs, man. We'll get some more. If you want to read that, Ariel. Just the show. Shortly after the British monarch.
Yeah. Shortly after British monarch Queen Elizabeth II passed away on September, and the word Kohinoor began trending on Indian Twitter.
So meaning the Queen died, and of course, I mean in India, on their Twitter accounts, this word Kohinoor was, you know what I mean, getting passed around. Why? Because you see, they're not like us. They remember everything. And now the Queen's had that diamond for ages. But guess what? The Indians did not forget. And they're like, well, if she's dead, we want that diamond back. That diamond belongs to us. That diamond, you mean, belongs to India. Reader.
It was a reference of one of the world's most famous gems. The Kohinoor diamond is just one of 2,800 stones set in the crown made for Queen Elizabeth's mother, known as the Queen Mother. But the 105-carat oval-shaped brilliant is the proverbial jewel in the crown.
So now, does anyone know what the word proverbial means?
Proverbial. Is it like the main one? Like the main focus?
The best, richest.
No, that's not what the word proverbial means.
Or is it like commonly spoken of? So
the word proverbial means it stands out. So meaning on the Queen's crown, the diamond that stands out is what? It's the Kohinoor diamond from India. So meaning right on the top, it's literally right there. And of course, now that she's dead, like, well, listen, like, we want it back. That diamond was taken from this land called India. Let's get a bit more. So this is the a history of that diamond. Actually, no, let me go for that. Actually, I missed a good section. Yeah, got it. So, if it's fine, I'll read from here. So it goes, in India, it is notorious for the way in which it was acquired by the British. So meaning, in India, they know how the British got their hands on it. Now, of course, if you ask someone in England, they're going to say it was handed to them. It was a gift, which is what they say. You mean someone who's from India, they go, listen, they stole that diamond. Someone in India go, it was a gift. But of course, come on, like 9 times out of 10, it was robbed. But they're gonna tell you it was a gift. But of course, you mean if you colonize a place, why are they going to give you gifts? If you are oppressing a place, why would the people that you oppress give you a gift, which is their best diamond? It doesn't make any sense.
Cool.
Let's read this last bit here. So when it was the history of the Kohinoor, when it was mined in what is now modern day Andhra Pradesh during the Kakatiyan dynasty in the 12th to 14th centuries, it was believed to have been 793 carats uncut. The earliest record of its possession was in the hands of the Mughals in the 16th century. Then the Persians seized it, and then the Afghans. So, meaning among Indians, this diamond has been around for a long time. All right, so the Sikh Maharaji Ranjit Singh brought it back to India after taking it from Afghan leaders Shah Shuja Durrani. It was then acquired by the British during the annexation of Punjab. The East Indian Company got hold of the stone in the late 1840s after forcing the 10-year-old Maharajan Dunjit Singh to surrender his lands and possessions. So that's how the Indians got it. And then what happened? The British stole it off the East Indians, man. Yeah, this article believes a lie. So they go, well, they presented the gem, but of course, through deeper research, it was actually robbed. And there's another one called, for time's sake, there's another diamond in the Queen's in a Sadat called the Great North African Diamond. It was taken from Kenya, and likewise, they want it back. They're like, listen, like that belongs to us, and they want it back. So meaning, even what is on her represents oppression.
Right.
So many people see nice garments. Look at those diamonds, and all those diamonds are stolen from empires under the British Empire. You know what I mean? So this is clearly an oppressor that had to form it. And you know what I mean?
Right.
Being done, you know what I mean? Of course, there's more to come. But you know what I mean? Listen, man, one day Christ is returning, man. And guess what? We are going to be free from under this British Empire.
That's right.
We are going to be free from under this royal family, man, that are rich from oppressing us.
Right.
We have read in history that what? A lot of their wealth, you can't even tell how much is owed to it. Meaning it could be all of it. It could be 99%, it could be 95 million. From what they did to us, the wealth they accumulated, you don't know how much is even owed to it. Listen, man, that's what they did to us, man. Got rich from enslaving us. Listen, man, Christ is returning with the vengeance. So that's the class. Anyone got anything before we get to the announcements?
Awesome.
Stuff about Alban, you had something or?
Last.
Yeah. Ain't no sweat then. With that, I'm gonna hand it over to Priest and Officer Ariella for the announcements.
Security announcements, ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West Street, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 12, Malachi 3 and 8 to 10, means 1/10 in the Hebrew, Ma'asharah, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department, to teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, the 25th of September, the Feast of Trumpets. Announce holy convocation from Chief. Remind Akyam and Akwatham to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pant, headband, scarf. And with that, we're going to give the teacher one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I Madium. I Mariam Shabbat, I Mariam Barak, Yehovah Shim Yahushai Barakadah,
Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Barakatham.
Sa, which means turn. We're going to give the sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I Mariam Shabbat, I Mariam Barak, Yahweh Shema Eladah Ba'ashim Yahushai, Yad Yamata. With that, class dismissed.
Shalom, Yabashim Shabakatham.
Shalom.
Yabashim Shabakatham.